Good morning, everybody. The Ridge is very committed to ensuring that our students have wide-ranging levels of awareness around diversity, around race, around gender. We don't want them to leave our school and not be aware of the debates and the questions and the issues and the constitutional imperatives that underlie our country and what children are expected to be aware of. It deepens their values and it deepens the extent of their choices. There are a number of programs at our school that ensure this in an age-appropriate way. We want our kids to be, the boys in our school, to be big thinking, have the ability to ask questions. Sometimes they might be hard questions. And if I think of our Ridge Up literature and history program, it's aimed at that. If I think of some of the programs that some of you guys do with our school psychologist and in life orientation, it's aimed at that. And also our appointment of a deputy head of transformation, diversity and inclusion. So it's very much a focus at our school, and we would be underserving the boys in our school if that wasn't a focus. Can some of you share, or Wami, maybe just share some of the work you're doing at the school, or some of what you've been exposed to at the school around thinking around this stuff?
Well, for my SOAL class, which means Social Awareness Wellbeing, we were now learning about masculinity and sexuality and like equality with women and just being a man and how to fit into this 21st century, because back in the day, being a man, the role of being a man is not the same as being a man today, because we have very different spectrums, very different communities. And then also for the history, we do also touch on things on like how it's just very different. People have different points of views. We must never take that away from them, but just learn about it.
Sure.
So that's what we learn at the age, to learn how to get from different people's ideas and thoughts.
That's if I can just add to that, I think what's valuable about these programs and what's valuable about what young boys are taught about around being a man in South Africa in the 21st century, there were very, like you mentioned, there were many versions of masculinity historically that were wounding to other people, that were damaging to other people. And we really get our boys to think carefully about how to be in a way that doesn't wound other people, it doesn't damage other people, it doesn't silence other people. So I think it's a core focus of the school. Who else wants to add to what Olwami said? Thoughts?
I feel like the school is a very, very inclusive place, and we have quite a diverse environment, and everyone has the right to share their own opinions on different views and topics. And I feel like altogether it's just quite inclusive, and everyone has the right to express themselves. In my ages at the school, I feel like the school has made a very, very big difference in my life. For example, every class, like the teacher focuses on each boy as every boy is different. Like the teacher wouldn't expect me to be the same as Spencer. Everyone has their own focus, everyone has their own needs, their own passions. And I feel like it's very inclusive as to how each boy gets a different experience as to what they need.
And touching on what I'm saying, what you're saying about everyone gets the experience they need, I did need I did struggle with English back in grade 1 and Maud, and I was put into the special learning program, and I've been brought up from barely knowing how to speak English to being one of the best, in my personal opinion, one of the best speakers in my grade.
I think the Ridge is very unique in their learning in terms of the smaller groups, because everyone has a talent, whether it be in drama, music, educational talents or sports talents. Everyone is given the chance in these smaller groups to nurture whatever their talent is, and it's taken into special focus. So I might not be the same as Spencer, he might be better at sport, but his talent will be nurtured differently to my music talent, for instance. And I think that's very special, and that's something that every school should.
With athletics, we have actually one of the most athletic players like Sergio and Spencer. We have, very fast people. The Ridge chose them when they were young and just pushed them all the way to how they are now. And example, basketball, we have a lot of talented players who past Ridge Boys and present Ridge Boys who have been at the school and now who actually got scholarships from the sports, which is very good. And soccer, we have actually one of the best soccer players in
BK.
Who actually, worked hard from such a young age. He actually, since grade 3, he was in the C team, and then the school really just worked on him, and then now he's in the first team A team, which has really just shown that the Ridge grows people and lets them know who they are. I actually previously went to a co-ed school. I was a boarder, and I think it was actually kind of a struggle for me because I didn't know who to relate to. Because when I came to Ridge, I related to people who were the same gender as me because I could relate to some things that I wouldn't relate to a woman. I'm not saying that I can't relate to women, it's just I can gel more with my boys and I have brothers, so it's just much easier for me to relate to a boys' school rather than for a co-ed school.
I also think that it's important for boys to get to know each other more than it is. And it's not like we won't ever see girls in our lives. So it's like that argument is not really, in my opinion, it's not really valid. I feel like you make brothers when you're at a boys' school and everyone feels connected in a way and everyone feels like empowered to be brothers with each other and to just be happy with each
For
other.
me, I feel like it's pretty important not to have the co-ed school at the pre-primary stages because at the time, at grade 6, 7, or young girls and young boys are developing at different traits and they have different class energies in the class, and I feel like it's good to separate them until they're always through all of that stuff.
I feel like it's better in a boys' school because we can all help support each other in terms of developing at the same rate like Spencer said. And I feel like in terms of development, all of us are kind of at the same stage and we can help support each other and understand each other more because we can all relate to each other.
I agree, and just to add to something, I think it's so complicated more than ever being a young girl, being a young boy, and I think to have let's think of a boys' school, to have a focused, safe space in which boys can talk openly and safely and confidently about what does it mean to be a boy, what sort of man do I want to be, what sort of version of a man do I want to be, what's not cool, what is cool. It makes those conversations and those journeys more doable and I think more effective in the long term.